What a way to set up our Pokémon GO Grand Finals. Now, you know these players, you love these players, but let's hear it for them as we bring them out on stage. Europe's final boss, it's CoIin6ix! And he is being challenged by Spanish boy wonder, it's P4T0M! It's great to have you both up here on stage, and who else would it be but you two? We've seen you time and time again here at the final stage. This is your 5th Championship Sunday in a row, and I'm going to come to you first, P4T0M. How does it feel after the journey you've had this weekend, dropping down into the losers bracket fairly early on day one, but you have been relentless since?
It feels great. I mean, I wasn't thinking that I was going to get to the point, to be honest. So everything that happens here from here is like a gift for me. I just hope to have a really good matchup with Colin. You said, well, it's the final boss. If you want to win a tournament, you want to beat this guy because he's so good at the game. So yeah, I hope that you enjoy the final, and that's all for me.
And Colin, for those of you that don't know, Colin has never had a trophy before, which is crazy because everyone regards you as one of the best players in the world. You've guaranteed that trophy, but I know you want gold. How are you feeling going into these finals?
I'm on the winner's side, so that feels pretty good to start with. Obviously up against P4T0M, I mean, undeniably the best player in the world at this moment, but I kind of prefer playing against better players, so I don't mind that too much.
And it's been a journey for you as well to this point. You've worked hard this season, you've had some good results. This is obviously going to be one of your best results of your career. Is there anyone you'd like to shout out for this journey?
I mean, it's got to be P4T David. He's over there in the crowd, and he's helped me so much with the scrims, and he's practically the only player I practice with because it's all I need. He's just that good.
He is. He's a great friend of yours, I know, and I'm sure he'll be rooting for you. P4T0M, shout-outs that you'd like to make?
I want to shout out my family. Honestly, I came with all my family to this tournament, so I really appreciate that. I hope I can give the moment they want to see. And also, my girlfriend always supporting me, all my friends. I have to say, a lot of friends. I mean, I cannot name it one by one, but like, yeah, thank you to all.
And I want to give you a chance. Do you have anything that you'd like to say to Colin before you face off?
Nothing, just that I hope you have fun in the matchup. I want to just give you a good matchup for a final. So yeah, let's see what comes.
Let's hear it for P4T0M! And now, Colin, I'll give you the last word. Anything you'd like to say to P4T0M?
I mean, he's been here before. He knows what it's like. Just have fun. I think we're going to have a great matchup. We're both very skilled, very tactical players, and I think there's going to be a lot of mind games going on. Should be a good watch for the crowd, I think.
I think so too. We can't wait to see it. One more time for CoIin6ix! Okay, I think we are good and ready to go. Players, if you'd like to make your way to the stage, best of luck for these grand finals. Please head over. Otherwise, give it up one more time for our finalists. Casters, back to you.
You wanted the best, and that's what we are about to deliver. CoIin6ix, P4T0M, EUIC Grand Finals 2026. I could not have dreamed of a more perfect situation here, and we cannot wait to get into these battles. Amanda, how are you feeling?
Truly, if you were to ask any player who could be the person who would win this European International Championship, I think the vote would be tied between these two trainers. On the left-hand side, we have CoIin6ix, affectionately coined the final boss, because to win a tournament in Europe, you usually have to go through this man. He was the first champion to win 2 titles in 1 season for Pokemon GO, and he has been in countless grand finals. But he has to get through one of the arguably best trainers we have in the moment in Pato Man.
You say arguably. I don't think there's an argument to be had. Pato Man is absolutely unreal. He is at home on Championship Sunday, and he returns home here in the Excel Center, a trainer that has conquered literally every other opponent he has come up against except the world champion Beelzeboy. So Pato Man, the Spanish prodigy, as we like to say, I don't think he is going to waver here. This is going to be one of the best grand finals. I can already see history in the making.
Pato Man is coming in from that loser's side of the bracket. He dropped down early on day one, round 3, and he said, you know what? I took that personal. He went and swept everyone else to come here to be in this grand finals one more time. He was our European International Champion last year. He does not want to give up that title. He says, CoIin, you're going to have to take this trophy out of my hands.
Well, our trainers are going to get set up here on stage. Take a deep breath, soak it all in, everybody. I cannot wait to get to the grand finals, but let's touch base with some friends and family first. Fareed, take it away.
We've got a really warm opportunity to speak to some of the people that have supported our grand finalists throughout their journeys. I'm joined by Kelvin. This is CoIn's brother and also Pato Man's dad. And we are going to ask them a few questions whilst these players prepare as to how they feel watching their friends and family up on stage. So firstly, we'll come to Pato Man's dad, also known as Pato Dad. Jorge, how are you feeling looking at your son up on stage for his 5th consecutive grand finals? Sorry, Championship Sunday, 3rd consecutive Grand Finals.
Bueno, me siento enormemente orgulloso de su actuación, sobre todo por el apoyo que tiene entre la familia, los amigos y bueno, esto es una experiencia inolvidable y nada, que la disfruten los dos porque los dos son muy buenos jugadores.
Okay, he feels really proud about the experience, about his son being here, and also about being with his family here, and it's an unforgettable experience.
I think it's going to be a really special experience. And Kelvin, you've obviously been competing yourself and watching CoIn and following in his footsteps. What's it like to see him again on these big stages?
Yeah, it's just amazing to see him make it. I know I've been chasing this goal for 2 years now, and to finally get that trophy, always wanted, is a proud moment for me as well, and I know he now really wants that gold.
I can imagine, and I know your parents have also been watching and supporting throughout both of your journeys. Do you have anything that you would like to share on their behalf?
Yeah, they've been amazing. Like every tournament that we go to, they will always watch from beginning to the end. They might not even know what we're doing, but they're just watching and supporting us. It's not only my parents, it's also my grandparents. They have completely no clue what's going on, but they are watching and they're always supporting. So yeah, I love them very much, and so does CoIn.
Yeah, I think family means so much to these players, and you've obviously got your wife and your children that have been coming to these events. We see them in the crowd supporting all the time as well. You've also played and competed a little bit yourself, and you're learning this game. It must be a massive moment for your family that this journey has taken you across the world. How are you feeling looking at the rest of this season, the World Championships? Will you take everyone there with you?
Bueno, increíble, me parece increíble. Gracias a Pokémon es algo que desconocía hasta hace 3 años. Lo he descubierto con mi hijo y me ha enganchado absolutamente. Vamos, creo que es increíble y se lo recomiendo a toda la familia de que vean que esto es más que un videojuego. Es una experiencia, es un disfrute, es compartir con una comunidad y con una familia, aparte de conocer el mundo y evidentemente, pues bueno, aprender idiomas y todo es muy positivo.
Okay, Jorge didn't know Pokémon 3 years ago. He discovered the game thanks to Leo. And he started playing after. It has been an amazing experience, an unforgettable one, traveling with his son and his family abroad. And he can recommend the game to everyone because he says it's more than a game, it's a community.
Thank you so much for those words, Jorge and Kelvin. Can we hear it for the players' families? I think the players are ready to go. I know you cannot wait to see these grand finals. We've got Will and Amanda behind the desk ready to take it away.
Cherished moments are these. When you win a big battle, when you win a big set, when you hoist that trophy, where do you look except for your family and friends out in the crowd? And both of these trainers have so much support behind them. CoIn, our final boss of Europe, Pato Man, the Spanish prodigy. This is going to be an epic showdown of Europe's best, and I think either trainer could take it.
And you may see a lot of similar Pokemon across the teams that you've been seeing, and that is because this is the second time ever that Pokemon Go is competing in a limited meta. So this is very interesting to see what the champions pick, and of course, there might be some standout Pokemon, but it is these standout players that are really piloting them to success.
Dragon-type Pokemon, Dark types as well as Bug have dominated the meta here at the European International Championships. As you pointed out, Amanda, for only our second limited format, so you're going to see a lot of Pokemon in this Grand Finals that you don't typically see. No Azumarill, no Umbreons, no Bastiodons, but we've got Milotic to go around. I cannot wait to get into this set here because our trainers have taken their breath. They are ready for game number 1.
And here we go, hopping right into it. We see that Shadow Beedrill on that side of CoIin6ix up against the Seeking of Patoman. Normally with the Seeking players like to go up to the Mega Horn, but it's not even needed in this first matchup because Beedrill does not want to take this Icy Wind, which is going to automatically lower the attack.
Beedrill not known for its bulk, going to use that first Protect Shield early on in this battle. We've seen CoIn two-shield his Beedrill in the past because he does rely on that Pokemon to deal tons of fast and charge attack pressure. Instant no shield for Patoman. He is not fearing the Fell Stinger.
Fell Stinger goes through. It's going to boost the attack of the Beedrill, and now Patoman comes in with his own, forcing a swap now from CoIn6ix. CoIn6ix is using Licky here, and Body Slam paces quite quickly, but Patoman is going for its heavy-hitting X-Scissor first. No Protect Shield by CoIn's side.
Now, Licky is running Rollout. It's going to deal a lot of super effective damage over time, but Beedrill's energy advantage helps it to equalize this matchup quite a bit. Body Slam coming through. This might not quite be enough, but Patoman does not want to let his Beedrill get too low.
Beedrill is one of the Pokemon that is a bit more frail and is on both of their teams, so they both recognize shields usually have to go towards this. And as you can see that now Patoman has double shielded his Beedrill, but this also means he's just getting a ton of fast attack energy and can potentially farm down this Licky Tongue to come out with even more.
Massive Bug Bite down for Patoman. He is ready to go into this next matchup. Dunsparce comes out. CoIn has relied on his 2 rollout users time and time again this tournament. Great timing by Patoman as well to fire up the 5 Bug Bites and then the X-Scissor. Do we see the final shield here?
Going ahead and just letting that go through. CoIn still has a shield on his side. Wants to possibly do a rollout down, but not before another parting gift goes through. Does CoIn want to use his shield, or is he recognizing that the Dunsparce is going to be so valuable? Yes, he does. He's going to get that down.
Great value for Patoman and his Shadow Beedrill, but in comes CoIn. Don't forget, he's got a Beedrill of his own. Good timing as well to fire off the X-Scissor here. Milotic is the last hope here for Patoman, his healthiest Pokemon remaining, and this is going to deal a massive chunk.
It's going to deal a massive chunk, but even still, Patoman is just going to charge up energy here. We're going to see an aggressive farm down, but look how low of health this Milotic has. There's only the Dunsparce left going for the attack at the same time. That's a wrap.
Charge attack priority goes to the Milotic. This is going to deal some neutral damage to the Dunsparce, but most importantly, it will drop down its defense. Dunsparce locked in with a drill run of its own. The question now becomes, can Patoman's final Pokemon wrap up this game?
Only Dunsparce remains on the side of CoIn6ix. Its defenses are dropped. In comes the Seeking to just start doing a little bit of damage, and it looks like CoIn is already going to fall before he's even able to throw an attack. Game 1 going to Patoman.
No catch needed. Patoman Seeking wins battle number 1 for him, putting him up 1-0 in this grand finals. I want to remind everybody as well, this is going to be a best of 5, and coming from the loser side bracket, Patoman needs to win this set and reset the bracket to have a chance at the championship. So we might have up to 10 games here on our hands.
You could. If you're looking at the teams, you might see some similarities, especially in the plays that we just had. That Shadow Beedrill really being a menace on both of their sides. Also noticing that CoIn and Patoman both have a Dunsparce. What is actually kind of surprising to me is that there's only one Licky, because if you guys have been following along this weekend, Licky has been on nearly every single team, usually used in that safe swap position because it has a lot of bulk and can just soak up a lot of damage coming through.
You're exactly right. Licky I think was at almost 80% usage on day 1, but we did have some massive meta shifts for day number 2. Actually, Shadow Drapion taking the number 1 spot overall, and you do see it represented on both of these trainers' teams. Now, before I said, you will probably not see many of the Open Great League picks on the rosters here, but Shadow Drapion is an Open Great League and Pokemon GO PvP staple, and it has been so good for both of these trainers. And I wanted to talk briefly about the Dragon type here. We've got Kingdra for CoIn. It's been very, very powerful for him, but when it's staring down that Milotic on the other side with the Dragon Tail, it's going to have a rough time.
I completely agree. Since Dragon Tail is going to be super effective against the dragon, however, the Dragon Breaths from the Kingdra aren't going to be super effective against the Milotic. It's no surprise that we're seeing Patoman bring it. Not only does it have that nice bit of bulk to it, it just paces so quickly to an attack. We're hopping right into game number 2 of the grand finals here. We got Shadow Beedrill again on CoIin6ix up against Spiritomb, an immediate pivot out by Patoman into a Seeking.
Decisive swap. Seeking is now up energy, trying to make a catch there, I believe, on the Icy Wind. CoIn maximizes his Beedrill's energy, sends out that Licky, that damage sponge that we've come to know it as this weekend.
And now it's going to be even more of a sponge, taking just a little bit longer because, as you can see, the attack has fallen, so nothing that it throws is going to be doing as much damage as when it first came in. Patoman actually already opting for another, and this is a Meghorn. This is heavy hitting damage, and CoIn does not put up a Protect Shield.
Licky deep into the red, but it does have the Earthquake. If this connects, it'll likely KO the Seeking, so big shield decision here for Patoman after a tough lead, and he does protect the Seeking. Great call.
Patoman recognizes how powerful a Seeking this could be, and you want to talk about a little bit of worse for the wear there. Patoman catching on Hikami earlier on to secure his place in the grand finals, now catching that body slam, a not very effective move on his Spiritomb.
Double resisted, in fact, and the Sucker Punch KO into Licky means that Beedrill is free to come back in. Looks like it's going to see a Fell Stinger fired off here. This X-Scissor would likely KO the Spiritomb, but Patoman shields anyway. This is just going to boost the Bug Bite for CoIn even further.
Look at this here. CoIn's able to get another attack off. Also, as a reminder, Patoman doesn't have any shields up. He protected up 2 Pokemon, while CoIn still has 2 on his side.
Wow, that was a really nice Charge Tech Party tie there for Patoman, because I fear he would have been bug bitten down if he waited any longer. Shield coming up from CoIn, though. That's really interesting.
Going ahead now, immediate pivot back into that Seeking, already unleashing the Icy Wind. This Dunsparce hasn't even done anything, and now it's going to have an attack fall.
Well, Seeking's going to try to slow the Dunsparce down, but the switch timer is still frozen cold for Patoman. He cannot get out of this matchup, and the drill run here is inevitable.
Going ahead, letting that go through. CoIn6ix trying to get off as much damage as possible. He still does have a little bit of health on the Beedrill in the back to swap to clear the debuff, but as of now, no matter what he throws, it's going to be doing a little less damage than it would have before.
We see CoIn reaching almost for the double up on the drill runs. Both trainers anticipating that switch timer and swap, building maximum energy. 1 shield remaining here for CoIn. He's going to use it on the Dunsparce, but I don't know. This Milotic is bearing down on this matchup.
The defenses have dropped. The attack is lowered. The charge attack is thrown. This drill run will connect with this very, very healthy Milotic. CoIn has to play very carefully at this moment, immediately pivoting out into the Beedrill just to try to clear the buff, but I fear it may be a little too late.
Yeah, we do not have monitors back here at the moment, but I will say it looked like we did have a big KO there, and the Milotic is positioned really well to try and take down the rest of this Dunsparce. Aquatail number 1 connects, and we are back.
Going ahead now, Aquatail number 2 to finish out the game here. Patoman has not lost a single game yet today.
Patoman taking the 2-0 over CoIn, as you said, dispatching Hikami 3-0. He was waiting for this matchup, and he is making the most of his moment. Trainers, he is 1 game win away from resetting this bracket and forcing another best of 5.
That's right, since Patoman has come from the loser's side of the bracket, that means he needs to beat CoIn in an original best of 5 matchup where he is 1 away, and then it would be a fresh new set. However, if anyone can be focused, it is CoIn6ix. It is the final boss. It is the person that wants to win.
Exactly right. As we take a look back here at our game number 2, Patoman just in total control. Great shield calls. I do believe there's 1 errant shield on a Fell Stinger that he probably could have forgone. But outside of that, guys, he's playing like perfectly. He's been doing it all weekend long, and you've got to be doing something right if you're going to win so many rounds in a row on that loser side bracket, and then 3-0 your opponent to start off Championship Sunday.
Really incredible plays by both of these trainers. We saw CoIn6ix calm and steady earlier on in the winners finals there. He would manage to get 3-0 sweep, but now he needs to start to really buckle in, because this is the moment that matters. He can go ahead. If he can reverse sweep Patoman here, he can become our European International Champion.
I'm so glad you made that point, right? It's not over for CoIin yet. Even though it feels like P4T0M4N has all the momentum in this particular series, we have seen the reverse sweeps before. It's not outside of the realm of possibility, especially when you're a trainer like CoIin. But I got to point out, CoIin has really relied on the double rollout users, the Licky Licky and the Dunsparce. They've been solid for him, but P4T0M4N just has so much better offensive capability. He's just overwhelming the normal types from CoIin.
Another thing that P4T0M4N has going for him is experience on this stage.
Correct.
Because yes, CoIin6ix has been in so many grand finals, but P4T0M4N has done it on the international level. He was our European International Champion the previous season. Right after that, he got second place at Worlds.
Yeah.
He was third place at NAIC. This season, he was second place at LAIC, and at the very minimum, he will be second place here again. This seat feels so familiar to him, it's like he's home.
I mean, we might need to start charging P4T0M4N rent if he's going to be here every Sunday, right? But let's be real, he deserves it. He's earned every single victory that he's gotten. We're going to get our devices sorted out on stage here and get geared up for a game number 3 in this series. But I got to be honest, Amanda, I want to go back to the double normal types that CoIn's been playing. He just can't seem to punch his way through the bulk, especially the Milotic Seaking double water combination from P4T0M4N.
So there was some talk with CoIn earlier on when he was talking about what he felt was his most valuable Pokemon. He did a really, really good job on the other days that we saw him piloting that Kingdra really well, piloting that Drapion. We kind of talked about why Kingdra might not be seen in these grand finals, but what are your thoughts about Drapion on the side of CoIn6ix?
That's an excellent question. I think if you are CoIn and you are looking at your poison and dark type Pokemon, you're probably a little bit worried about the drill run from the opposing Dunsparce, but outside of that, there's a tremendous amount of neutral play. I mean, the trick is that you can only throw crunches into the water types, right? You do not want to throw Aqua Tail no matter what, so the catch potential is there. Let's get right into it, everybody. This is game number 3. Here comes CoIn, here comes Pato.
There was a Dunsparce in the lead here, an immediate pivot into that Drapion now that we were just talking about. CoIn was so dangerous with this in day 1 and day number 2. It doesn't surprise me to see it here, and there's a last-second shield by P4T0M4N correctly shielding up a crunch, which would have done just a ton of damage, and you hear that little sound? That means that defense is thrown on that Spiritomb.
Spiritomb can gain an edge in this matchup if it calls the Aqua Tail bait, but luckily for P4T0M4N, he shields the correct charge attack. In comes the Milotic. This is that familiar double water team that we have seen over and over from this trainer, and the crunch will get fired off here. If he gets another debuff here, Amanda, this will be a huge setup play.
This is going to be big moments, but overall, even though it didn't get one, look at this, how much damage is already done, and this is already that an attack has been debuffed from this Drapion. Drapion with the shadow damage just has 20% more, hits a little bit heavier, and that's why it's always opted for here in our Great League format.
Milotic deep into the red now, gonna fire with the Aqua Tail. This will likely be enough to KO the Shadow Drapion and finally silence that menacing Pokemon. But actually the pivot on 1 HP into the Dunsparce.
Keep an eye on that later. We could see CoIn using it for a catch or a potential swap to clear a debuff. Meanwhile, talking about debuffs, another one coming through here as this wrap puts the defenses down on the Dunsparce, and now we're back where we started. Dunsparce up against Spiritomb, but this time there's some energy to boot. No Protect Shield as this drill run goes through.
Drill run connected into the Spiritomb. Obviously, a second one would be enough to KO at this range. 1 Protect Shield remaining for each trainer, and here comes another drill run from the Dunsparce. Spiritomb has been so good for P4T0M4N. He's going to shield it up here.
Going ahead, forcing that, because if you're looking at how much energy the Spiritomb has had, it's basically at its attacks now, but he doesn't want to throw right away because he knows that Dunsparce is low on energy, basically at 100, and a catch by CoIn. Remember when we said to keep an eye on the Drapion? That's exactly what it's used for. Masterclass by the final boss.
Absolutely absurd because he went up 6 sucker punches through on alignment, and CoIn saw right through the facade. Now he's got his own Spiritomb looking for the sucker punch down, but can't quite get it. This could be a Shadow Ball. The threat is there. Does CoIn call this Rock Tomb?
This is a big moment. CoIn has 1 shield, and he no-shields a Rock Tomb. Yes, it does damage. Yes, the attack does fall, but at the same time, it doesn't get near the knockout that P4T0M4N was hoping for, or the shield.
Absolutely unbelievable composure here from CoIn, calling the Rock Tomb, firing off the Shadow Ball here. He is building his way back into this series.
Shadow Ball heavy hitting damage there up against this Seaking. Seaking looking to find a victory for his master there. Now, getting that last shield, this Icy Wind is going to debuff, so the Spiritomb is double debuff. No problem at all, says CoIin. Let me swap out for this drill run.
Wombo combo. Dunsparce comes in, delivers a ground-type hard-hitting drill run to KO the Sea King. There's only 2 Pokemon left, but they've got barely any HP. Dunsparce with the rollouts is able to pick up the KO. There's 1 Pokemon left.
Rolling through here. Spiritomb is able to take out. It's still so close. Spiritomb on CoIin's side has more energy, and CoIin takes game number 3.
Wow, you wanted a series, and CoIin delivers. Incredible composure in the mid-game, calling fates. Incredibly well done by him to get back into the series because P4T0M4N looked like he had all the momentum. And CoIin said, no, I'm the final boss for a reason.
P4T0M4N completely locked in up until this moment. He hadn't dropped a single game so far on Championship Sunday. He was 1 game away from flipping this bracket, and CoIin said, I don't think I want to do that. I know that you've already been on this stage a couple times. Let me have a little bit more time here, coming back into the matchup, and look how well he did.
I mean, yesterday when CoIin found out he was going to go to Championship Sunday, Farid told us he has never seen him that happy. He's won regional championships before. He's been on the big stage. He's got big wins. But this just meant something more to him. And I think right now he's realizing he needs to really lock in and fight back because P4T0M4N is not backing down.
And I think this also just goes to show the caliber of plays of each of these players. We've seen catches across the board on this Championship Sunday. CoIin being able to show, yes, I can do this too. I'm proving to you why I'm coming in on this winner's side of the bracket.
That matchup was so close. Just a couple of sucker punches could have made the difference between either of those trainers, but the record will show that P4T0M4N is up 2-1, and CoIin might be starting a comeback here in the Excel Center.
And I think that if you are CoIin, you say, okay, I have been in, wait a minute, you know, at this point he has to take a breath and say, I've been in a lot of grand finals. Yes, maybe it hasn't been on this main stage with so many people watching, but this is just an ordinary day for the boss, and the boss is coming into work, and that's exactly what he's doing. You see him already giving a nod. He knows what he wants to do to be able to continue on, to be able to become our new European International Champion.
A little twist of the head, a crack of the neck, and we're right into it. We've got Kingdra in the lead for CoIin, facing off against the Spiritomb.
This is a risky play, and we did see it from CoIin earlier on in the winners finals as well. Kingdra coming in when there's a Milotic on the other side is a little bit risky, but talk about catches here. Great timing, swapping in that Dunsparce to catch the Rock Tomb.
Yeah, mechanically these trainers are outstanding. The 1-turn Dragon Breath, the swap, getting the 3-turn rollout on the swap is absolutely incredible because it allows this Dunsparce to now be ahead of the Spiritomb. Here comes Drill Run.
Drill Run coming through. It is debuffed, no Protect Shield on P4T0M4N side, and Spiritomb will be able to take this first one. The next one will knock out as we've seen, but look how much energy the Spiritomb is just going to continue to build up, and now we actually see a catch of his own from P4T0M4N. This is a Drill Run. Surprisingly, this is one of the only Pokemon that we have in this limited meta that doesn't change the stats when it's throwing a charge attack.
Well, I gotta say, for CoIin, he's gotta be really relieved to see the Milotic here. He brought Kingdra in this battle, and he actually brings it back into the Milotic matchup. I thought Kingdra would want to avoid this at all costs, but here it is.
Trying to catch an Aqua Tail, maybe, but you're absolutely right. This wrap is going to lower the defenses, and it's going to be able to just take a little bit more, but CoIin is already at an outrage. Most people would think that this would be the big moment.
And, oh, it sounds like the Swift was fired off there. We're going to see CoIin and his Kingdra trying to face off, but I don't think it has much HP left. That sounds like another charge attack coming through. Milotic with the Aqua Tail.
Huge call there. Aqua Tail going through. It's not very effective, but it is enough to take out the Kingdra here. Milotic just putting in the work. Aqua Tail again coming through onto this Spiritomb.
Yeah, exactly right. This is actually going to draw that first Protect Shield from the Spiritomb, though, trying to keep it healthy in the matchup. In comes the Sea King now, but this Pokemon can swap out and clear debuff. It's going to fire for Rock Tomb of its own.
Spiritomb there getting that last Protect Shield from P4T0M4N side. Sea King has just come in, wants to get as much energy as possible here, and wants to use that Protect Shield to be able to do so. Just continuing to fire off here, get a lot of energy, going for the Mega Horde. This is a heavy hitting attack. CoIin only has one Protect Shield. Does he want to use it? Yes, he does. This is a correct moment here. This would have been heavy, heavy damage.
It absolutely would have been. Sea King versus Spiritomb, both 2-turn fast attacks, but the Rock Tomb from the Spirit Tomb is going to get fired off here. I think this will likely command his shield, but let's see what Pokémon decides to do.
Going ahead, using that last shield here in this game. Pokémon still has 2 low health Pokemon in the back. Colin goes for a combination play, but at the same point here, he gets that catch, and that's going to knock out the Dunsparce. Great play by Colin.
That's a lot of energy down the drain. He really wanted the Mega Horn for the Spirit Tomb, but he's not going to get it. Pokémon, though, has some energy in reserve. Shadow Ball will connect. This is the final Pokemon for Colin, and Pokémon is going to reset this bracket.
Colin tried everything he could. He played very, very well, but Patoman said, okay, that game was good for you. Go ahead, let me take the series.
I can't believe it. Pokémon stumbled, but only for a moment. Colin, your final boss just could not stop what was coming. Pokémon and Colin are headed to another best of 5.
Yes, as a reminder, we are doing best of 5s on this championship Sunday. Patoman coming in from that loser side of the bracket and now was able to reset the bracket, and now we will be in the, what we would call the grand finals.
This is the grandest of grand finals, if I may, as we take a look back at this previous best of 5. Lots of rollout, lots of Dunsparce, lots of Licky Licky, a little Shadow Drapion sprinkled in, and some Beedrill to boot.
I think that if you are a person who is watching this, you might be wondering to yourself, why are they using these Pokemon? I haven't seen many of these before. And also, we're talking quite a lot about different attacks that are being used that have a, some sort of stat-changing abilities.
Exactly.
While that is common in Pokemon Go, it is super common in this meta, which makes it even more dynamic. We have crunches that are being thrown by the Shadow Drop-In for a potential debuff, but we have guaranteed debuffs being able to be thrown with Rock Tombs from the Spirit Tomb or also Icy Winds from the Seeking.
Exactly right. I mentioned this all the way back on the EUIC pre-show. The switch timer in this format matters more than it's ever mattered before, and you see so many swaps and trainers adapting, taking advantage of their turn cycles to sneak as much energy as possible, because when you're at this level, the big wins really are earned at the margins.
You see a lot of times, maybe you're wondering, why are they shielding such a low health Pokemon, or why are they swapping out? Because now they're switch locked, but it's also because energy is so important, especially on this level. So you will see a lot of these top level trainers, I would argue the top level trainers of EUIC here, playing some very engaging, different type of battles.
Amanda, we're going into another set. Pokémon is no stranger to this stage, and Colin has a dream of his own. He wants to win this championship. He wants to be an international champion, but he just stumbled. Well, how does he respond? What does he do here? Because Pokémon is just on a roll. It doesn't seem like anyone in the world can stop the Spanish prodigy.
Pokémon has been in this position so many times. Exactly, he's been in the position of the grand finals. And I think that he is so hungry for another win. He's come so close in this season, 5 consecutive times in a row. And I know, Will, that you said earlier on that you didn't think that we would have a repeat of a European International Champion. And I think Pokémon says, I'm going to prove him wrong.
We're going to find out here. Look at these accomplishments, but that's all in the past, right? You have so many things to look back at and say, yeah, I performed pretty well. But the question now is, what am I going to do on the stage in this moment? How am I going to make history in London? I mean, you got to focus on the present here, right? As we look at these teams, I expect a lot of the double water from Pokémon. I expect Colin to fight back as well as he can. Let's hear to the venue for the final boss. Let's hear to the venue for the Spanish prodigy. This is the Grand Finals reset at EUIC 2026.
We hear you guys, the crowd hears you at home, and the players can already feel your support. This is a big moment for both of these trainers, and it is really cool that they are both coming from this European region here. We're going to kick off the Grand Final reset. We have that Kingdra coming back. Colin taking some risk up against that Shadow Beedrill of the side of Pokémon.
When we see the Shadow Beedrill in the lead, we expect shields to be allocated towards it. This is just a Swift, but Shadow Beedrill needs resources to stay in the series. Pokémon allowing the Swift to connect means that he's comfortable reaching this X-Scissor and will likely switch out afterwards, but will Colin respect this charge attack?
CoIin6ix still has 2 Protect Shields. The game has just begun. He lets it go through this X-Scissor, knocks out that Kingdra there, and we might see Pokémon aggressively swap because remember, no one wants to farm down, no one wants to give energy energy. Spiritomb comes in, meet the Seeking as Pato-Man swaps it out, and he's going to be able to reach that Icy Wind first, but he's going to have to go for that heavy-hitting Mega Horn. The real question is, does CoIn know? If CoIn calls this incorrectly, it could have been detrimental.
I was going to say, he just lost the Kingdra. Losing the Spiritomb now would be a crippling blow. Instead, he does protect it with the Protect Shield there from the Mega Horn. Going for the Rock Tomb now, trying to respond to the Seeking. This will likely knock out, but Pato-Man wants one more shot.
Look at this energy on the Seeking. Definitely a good shield there by Pato-Man, and the Switch Timer is not up yet, so just charging up a little bit more, waiting, and now throwing the Icy Wind. This is one of those attacks, again, guaranteed debuff, but since it was Mega Horn energy, it gets that other Protect Shield from the side of CoIn.
Yeah, talk about maximizing utility. That was a genius level play. Pato-Man now bringing in his Spiritomb versus the Dunsparce, and I gotta say, CoIn is on the back foot here. He might be sliding into a loss unless he can turn this around.
Pato-Man is playing on his toes. He's responding very, very quickly, and if you're down one Pokemon like CoIn is, it could be hard, but Dunsparce is a little bit ahead overall in energy. No protections remaining. This is going to hurt.
Yeah, Rock Tomb is going to start to cripple the Dunsparce, lowering that attack, making those drill runs more and more ineffective. Here comes another one, though. This is going to chip down the Dunsparce. I think the goal for CoIn is to get back to that Switch Timer.
It's difficult, right, though? I mean, with a Spiritomb into a Spiritomb, you don't want to swap yours in when the other one has energy, because a Shadow Bolt would knock out, but CoIn already has it loaded. CoIn says, watch this. You want to go ahead and do this for me? Why don't I just knock out that Spiritomb?
I mean, alley-oop from Dunsparce to Spiritomb, that was nothing but net. Out comes the Beedrill, the Sucker Punches are adding up, and I mean, this Spiritomb is going to suck the air out of the room. Seeking can't do anything about it. Game one, CoIn.
You can hear it. Can you hear it in the crowd? We hear CoIn, CoIn. People are here. They are ready to support him. We know, we heard from his brother Kevin, that the grandparents are in the crowd. And in immediate response to the call-ins, we hear Pato, Pato. Even though both of these trainers are from Europe, it is quite divisive because they have fans, they have family, they have friends that all want the person to be the champion.
Let's be real, Pokemon is a universal language. You don't have to understand all the mechanics, you don't have to understand every single play, but you can tell when a trainer wins a battle, what it means to them, especially on this stage. Now, we just started the Grand Finals reset. Pato-Man taking another loss here. Is that a crack in the armor? Is this an opening that CoIn will continue to hammer home?
If there's a crack in the armor, CoIn might just rip it right open, and the next game will be really an indicator for this. As a reminder, CoIn came in from that winner's side of the bracket. He 3-0'd Ikami in that winner's finals, where then Pato-Man was able to go ahead and take that win as well. Pato-Man just came in and beat CoIn 3-1 in the grand finals, leading us to this moment where we are now. But this truly is the only moment that matters. It doesn't matter how well you played up into this moment. Only one person can be crowned champion, and CoIn is one game ahead.
Right here, right now. That is what we have to keep in mind. CoIn takes the game 1 win, but if he doesn't take the title, it won't mean as much to him, so he's got to keep up the pressure against Pato-Man. Some interesting plays there in that battle number 2. The Spiritomb swapping in was something that Pato-Man was not ready for, and you barely ever catch this trainer off guard.
I think Pato-Man is one of those trainers who, yes, he has been in this position so many times, but he has also publicly said that it gets a little bit trying on you, right? Just like, yes, I understand that I'm a good player. I know people keep telling me that I'm great, but when you come so consistently close, when you podium finish, but you can never seem to secure that #1 spot, it starts to get to you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, when you set your standards that high, if you're not reaching those heights consistently, it can drain you. It can make you question your abilities and make you wonder if you still got it. But after winning so many rounds in that loser side bracket, after absolutely bulldozing through the competition, Pato-Man's got to be feeling very, very confident. CoIn's got to keep up the pressure, though. I mean, my goodness, Pato-Man took that 3-1 to reset the bracket, and CoIn, I think he's locked in at this point.
CoIn is a consistently good player. A lot of times he has teammates, he has friends that help him build teams, and literally someone can just hand him a team and he can pilot it better than almost anyone. He knows the ins and outs. He knows the mechanics. He knows exactly what he needs to do. I believe that he built this team for himself, so he knows even better now what he's going to do to be able to win. He did come in on that winner side of the bracket. He does have the first game here. He's only 2 away in this best of 5 to be our new European International Champion.
The key to this series has been Spiritomb, a Pokemon that I did not expect to be as popular or as potent here at the European International Championships 2026. I thought it's too slow. It's bulky, but it doesn't deal that much damage. But what it is very good at is it's able to double resist any type of normal attack, which means Body Slam, Wrap is essentially ineffective. It can debuff the opponent with the Rock Tomb. Sucker Punches deal meaningful damage over time, and the Shadow Ball is at one-hit KO potential. That Pokemon is so versatile, and you'll see throughout this series, they're going to try to position their Spiritomb in the perfect position.
Absolutely. I mean, even though this is a Show 6 pick 3, they have some picks that they're kind of leaning on, right? I think there's some Pokemon that maybe we won't see as often. What is kind of surprising to me is the fact that Pac-Man is playing a little bit risky, running that Shadow Beedrill. We say how potent it is, but at the same point, Colin is running a double rollout user team in that Dunsparce and in that Licky Licky. Rollout does super effective damage. Not only that, Licky Licky paces very quickly to the Body Slam, and we've seen how frail that Shadow Beedrill is. Normally, if you're playing Shadow Beedrill, you're using your Protect Shields on that Pokemon.
Well, speaking of Shadow Beedrill, we're going to see that in the lead from Colin, but this time it's going to pair off against the Sea King. As we've talked about a couple times already, the Peck Sea King is going to deal some super effective 2-turn fast stack damage, and the Icy Wind will always command a shield, right?
And also talking about that Shadow Beedrill, if we take a peek at that backline there, it is on the team of Pac-Man as well, and there's that double rollout user I was talking about in the back for CoIin6ix, so there could be some really nice alignment for Colin, but we have to see how this will play out. Going for a Fell Stinger bait, no Protect Shield used by Pac-Man.
Yeah, no Protect Shield there, but I like the point that you made. The rollouts from the double normal type Pokemon are going to apply a lot of pressure, and Colin has usually been running an ABA rollout strategy, so for him to actually run ABB here might catch Pac-Man off guard. Beedrill now in the field for Pac-Man against the Licky Licky.
That's what we talked about here. Now that they're up against each other, first Protect Shield used as that Body Slam went through, so the Beedrill is still in the green. Getting a Protect Shield back in kind as the X-Scissor will not be able to connect with Licky Licky, even though this is a bulky Pokemon. Colin wants to try to keep it as healthy as possible to try to do maximum damage to this Beedrill.
Yeah, Body Slam going to get fired off here. It's going to be really close. Pac-Man trusts in his bug and poison type Pokemon, and it does hang on through the rollouts. Great timing to get as many bug bites as possible before firing the X-Scissor.
Look at the sliver of health on that Beedrill there. X-Scissor connects, knocks out that Licky Licky. Huge play by Pac-Man there. No Protect Shields by CoIin6ix.
1 HP on the Beedrill, but it did so much work while it was on the field. Now we have the Shadow Beedrill from Colin back to the field. This is the target, right? I'm so glad you mentioned Beedrill. It's probably the best answer these trainers have to the Spiritomb outside of their own Shadow Draft.
What a bait here by Colin. Now getting the Protect Shield off of Pac-Man's side as the Spiritomb doesn't want to connect, and now coming in with the Dunsparce here. Spiritomb, like you talked about, it takes a little bit longer to pace through to get to this energy.
Correct.
But with no Protect Shields remaining, and now coming in and being able to just use this Rock Tomb to lower the attack of the Dunsparce, it still puts Pac-Man in a decent position.
Do we see a swap here into the Sea King to absorb a charge attack from the Dunsparce? Not yet. Instead, I think Pac-Man's going to stay in here, absorb the Drill Run from the normal type Dunsparce. This won't quite KO the Spiritomb, but it takes it down to the red.
Yeah, Spiritomb already at another Rock Tomb, however. This is when it really starts to come down to the wire, and you have to see how Colin is going to respond. This is enough to knock out the Dunsparce. No, it just barely hangs on, and is able to throw off the Drill Run. Huge, huge. Just like the Beedrill earlier onto the Licky Licky. Now the Dunsparce responds in kind to the Spiritomb.
Massive impact. Surviving on just 1 HP to get off the charge attack is huge, but it sadly will not be enough. Colin doesn't have any energy, and Pac-Man Sea King claims game number 2.
Wow, huge plays by both of these opponents. They're going back and forth throughout these matches. 1-1 in our grand finals here. And guess what? In a typical game, we're doing best of 3s.
Yeah.
No, Will. Not now. On the grand stage, Championship Sunday, we're doing best of 5 matches.
And I'm glad because I can't count any higher than that. We're going to take a
we
look
only
back
have so many fingers, right?
at our game number 2 as the 1 HP survive on the B drill was pivotal for P4T0M4N, and then Colin shortly thereafter had the 1 HP survive on his Dunsparce. But P4T0M4N came out on top when the dust finally settled.
I mean, it is about the impact, right? Yes, the drill run was a nice thing for Colin here on the Spiritomb, but it wasn't that impactful, right? It would have been better if that Spiritomb was out of the way and he could land it on the Seeking. I tell you what, the fact that P4T0M4N was able to get that X-Scissor off on the Licky Licky was huge and game-changing.
No, absolutely. I think if he doesn't get the X-Scissor there, he might be in trouble down the stretch, but Colin had just had so little HP on his remaining Pokemon, and the Seeking was healthy enough to get the job done. And that begs the question, now that we're 1-1, these trainers are tied up, who will get the job done here in London?
And also, just a reminder, we talked about right before that how risky it is to bring a Shadow Beedrill user into a double rollout bulky team.
Right.
P4T0M4N, he's defying all odds. Even with the Beedrill lined up in the back, he's able to put out just so much damage, recognizing exactly what he needs to do, recognizing his win conditions, and consistently pulling through. That's why we see him so many times up on this big stage. And CoIin6ix is no stranger either. He is wanted to take this next game. It's tied up 1-1. We got the Beedrill up against the Spiritomb. Immediate swap out by P4T0M4N to that Seeking.
Colin running back the same trio that he played just a game ago. This time trying to make it work. He did get a good lead with the Spiritomb. The instant swap by P4T0M4N sends out the Seeking, but the call on the Fell Stinger. P4T0M4N is starting to build his way back into this game.
Going ahead, even though the attack is now boosted as Fell Stinger does this, it's going to drop right back down as the Icy Wind goes through from this Seeking. Not only that, does get the shield because Beedrill does not want to take that attack, but look at it. The Seeking's already getting down quite low, and Colin will come out with a ton of energy. P4T0M4N Seeking is out of the picture.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely devoured by the bug bite pressure. Beedrill is down a shield here and a low on HP, but it's got tons of energy. In comes the Spiritomb, firing the X-Scissor. I think this is a safe shield for Pato because I doubt the Beedrill gets to another charge attack.
And num, yes, he's just going ahead and getting that first shield. That is a big call. Good job there for P4T0M4N. But like you said, very predictable. Now swapping into the Dunsparce into that Spiritomb. Spiritomb is ahead on energy, but Colin immediately throwing this drill run. I love this play because that means this drill run is going to connect with its full amount rather than getting that Rock Tomb first and then lowering down the attack.
You're exactly right. You want your full strength charge attacks wherever you can get them, especially in this EUIC limited meta. Maybe trying to make a catch there, going to Milotic. This has been a safety blanket for P4T0M4N, and it comes in to face off against the Dunsparce.
Drill run coming through here. P4T0M4N has one Protect Shield, and it looks like he's not going to bother using it at this moment. We've seen Milotic just be able to continue to ramp up energy, and that's exactly what's going to happen. We're going for an Aqua Tail spam here. 2 of them are loaded. First one going through.
Exactly. We're going to get a couple of charge attacks back and forth, kind of dink and dunk style damage, but the swap into Colin's Licky Licky will distribute that damage a bit more and keep his Dunsparce around.
As we're calling this the damage sponge, the Aqua Tail does barely any damage to it. Licky Licky sticking his tongue out essentially at Milotic, saying, okay, yeah, I can handle that, you silly, silly thing. Now going for the wrap here, this will lower the defenses of that Licky Licky, sort of taking away a little bit of that bulk, but Colin hasn't thrown yet. He's just continuing to go ahead and build up some energy. Now throwing a body slam, but he doesn't even get to it in time. This is like worse for the wearer. This is salt in the wounds. This is an attack lowered on a non-efficient Pokemon.
Yeah, but the 1 HP survival ensures a body slam, but keep in mind, everybody, this is going to be double resisted. Does P4T0M4N call it? No!
Oh!
A rare misplay, shielding a body slam, and the pivot now into Dunsparce. Colin sees the window, and he's jumping right through it.
Huge opportunity for Colin here, being able to get that off, get the shield, and the drill run connects now with that Spiritomb. In comes the Milotic, but there's already another drill run loaded for CoIin6ix. Both of these trainers are nodding their heads, recognizing that this game is done and dusted.
Don't leave the door cracked open because Colin will kick it in. That is a 2-1 lead for the final boss.
And also what we call a 3-ball flex because Colin had a little bit of health left on all of his Pokemon there, and you can see how excited his friends and teammates are in the crowd for him. He is 1 game away from becoming a new European International Champion. Give it up in the crowd if that's what you're cheering for.
1 more game. 1 game for the rest of your life, Colin. Let's see if the final boss can pull it off. Patoman, though, my goodness, if you asked me if there was a tougher opponent in the entire world, I don't know who I could name. Patoman is only 2 wins away from flipping this entire tournament, coming from that losers round 3 on day number 1, and he can do it. He has the ability. I have no idea who's going to win, Amanda. This could go either way.
I know, absolutely true. Patoman was the trainer coming in from that loser side of the bracket. He's already beaten CoIn once in a best-of-5 matchup, taking that 3-1. There's a potential that he can do it again, but I mean, you have to be a little bit shaken at this point, right? You have to really buckle down. But truly, just like you said, Will, if there was going to be anyone that could be able to do this, I think it could be Patoman. I think if you asked any Pokemon GO PvP trainer, who are you most fearful of playing, Patoman is at the top of many trainers' lists.
We might be heading into the decisive game of the 2026 European International Championships, the largest Pokemon GO tournament in history. We're building towards bigger and better things, and the stakes just get higher as well. CoIn and Pato, you could not have asked for a better EU Grand Finals, and they have put on an absolute show.
Both of these trainers are so locked in, so calm and collected. Patoman is thinking about this. Look at it. He's like, what are my choices here? I am coming so close. And CoIn, it's easy to get shaken, right? You go from winning 3-0 to now you're really kind of on the back foot, but you'd never see it on CoIn's face. Yeah. He's always someone that he's kind of like hiding that true emotion while you can tell that the wheels are turning in his head.
And look at Patoman too, right? He's had his head down for most of this tournament, but he's up. He's kind of clenching his hands together, a little stressed out, trying to figure out what his next play will be. What I really want to call out too is CoIn's resolve. I mean, running the B-Drill double normal team, losing with it, and then running it right back and taking a win.
There's huge plays by both of these trainers, and sometimes, you see a team or you see a play, and you know that maybe it wasn't even your opponent that played so well, but that you maybe stumbled a little bit. You made a misplay or two, and if you just would have played it to perfection or the style that you know that you can pull off, that is what secures the win. And that's exactly what CoIn did, to your point. He says, okay, no, it wasn't a bad team composition. Yeah. It wasn't that he outplayed, I just maybe outplayed myself.
Well, it's not enough to play perfectly. You have to play perfectly in the perfect moment, and this might be CoIn's moment right here. We're going to get Licky Licky into Dunsparce to start off game number 4.
And it looks like Dunsparce and Licky Licky, both of them charging up a lot of extra energy here, going for that heavy-hitting Earthquake against Dunsparce. No Protect Shield used on the side of Patoman. Patoman also has a lot of energy on that Dunsparce and immediately pivoting out now into the Spiritomb to be met by the Drapion. Drapion is one of Spiritom's harder counters in this meta, but I tell you what, if there's shields in play, and if you shield a bait like this has happened, this could be a huge turning point. This could be a momentum shifter for CoIn6ix.
Yeah, I can feel the momentum swinging to the left side of your screen as CoIn pulls off the perfect bait with the Aqua Tail, shields up the Rock Tomb, but guess what? Shadow Drapion is going to pace circles around this Spiritomb. It's going to have 2 crunches before Spiritomb's even ready for 1 Rock Tomb.
Not only that, the crunches just do so much damage to the Spiritomb. Yes, it is debuffed. You're going to see that it's not going to be enough to knock out, but it's going to knock it down into the red. Oh, barely, not, I guess because of the attack debuff.
Exactly, but it's really close. Another Rock Tomb coming off here. The question becomes, will CoIn double invest? And he does. He doubles down on his Dark Poison Shadow Drapion.
Shadow Drapion did so much for him in the earlier matchups. He's bringing it back for this game, and now coming back into the Dunsparce to clear that debuff, now met by the Melodic on the side of Patoman. But this Dunsparce is up energy.
Absolutely up massively. Drill run number 1 from the Dunsparce will connect into the Milotic. CoIn relying on those double normal type Pokemon, and it might be the key here in game number 4, Wrap from the Milotic.
As a reminder, CoIn6ix used both of his Protect Shields in that Spiritomb Drapion matchup, so there's nothing here to protect him as this Wrap connects. The defense has fallen, but he's going to do everything he can to maximize the potential of this Dunsparce. Drill run number 2 coming through.
Another drill run, and I gotta say, this game 4 is a slow burn, but it's it's going to end in fireworks. Milotic has the charge attack ready, going to go for the charge attack priority, but the swap into Licky Licky. Colin just keeps moving the pieces around.
You even see them waiting. You see both of these trainers waiting. Pato-Man didn't want this catch, and yet it still happened. Now swapping back in, though. Great play by Pato-Man. Very quick adjustment here, throwing this Rock Tomb, which is going to lower the attack of the Licky Licky and also get it quite low.
Yeah, exactly. You want to get as much value as you can from Pokemon like Spirit Tomb and the Sucker Punches, plus the Rock Tomb, taking the Licky Licky so low, 1 HP.
Wow, Colin is able to throw a body slam or an earthquake, but going for the body slam right away as that Melodic goes through here. No Protect Shield used by Pato-Man. Dragon Tail also went through.
This is Pato-Man's last hope. He's got one Pokemon left. Out comes the Dunsparce, but it's got energy for days as the body slam connects.
Huge play here for Colin being able to get this through. Yes, if you remember at the very beginning, that Dunsparce just came out with a ton of energy. The big problem for Colin is he doesn't have shields.
Exactly, but the crunch is loaded. He did save energy for a rainy day, and that's perfect for the city of London. Crunch will pull the final shield away from Pato-Man.
But Pato-Man also saved that shield for that same rainy day. This is a charge attack priority, meaning the Pokemon with the higher attack could throw first, but that still means that this drill run will connect. This will knock out the Drapion, and this one is also a charge attack priority.
Charge attack priority goes to Pato-Man. Everyone hold your breath. Is this drill run enough to tie up the series? It's not! Colin is going to strike back.
Colin's Dunsparce hangs on by a sliver. Pato-Man has his fingers crossed. If this knocks out, Colin takes the series. It does not! Striving on sliver of HP, and down goes Collins!
Blow for blow! Back and forth! It's not over! Tied up! We're going to game 5!
You could not ask for a closer matchup there. No one knew what was going to happen. Ooh, you even saw Pato-Man holding his breath, crossing his fingers, recognizing if this knocks out, my dreams are over. But being able to just survive on a sliver of HP, one rollout for the knockout takes us into game 5.
Have 2 grand finalists ever been more evenly matched than Colin, the final boss of Europe, and Pato-Man, the Spanish prodigy? This is absolute cinema.
This game was incredible. I'm sure people will be coming back to watch this over and over. There were catches, there were charge attack priorities everywhere, and this is also valuable information that these trainers can take away, which is also crazy. I think this is the first time that we saw it, and these trainers have played each other so much already on the big stage. Dunsparce against Dunsparce there. It is going to be the one with the higher attack being able to throw first. CoIin6ix usually has the Pokemon with the higher attack because he doesn't really care as much about stat distribution. As long as he has the Pokemon and he can play well with it, it doesn't matter as much to him.
Yeah.
In this one specific scenario, it meant everything.
Exactly. Colin just catches what he can and powers it up, and he still wins big. We're heading into a decisive Game 5 of the Grand Finals reset. This is going to be the last game of the European International Championships, the last chance for Pato-Man to go back-to-back, and the closest chance Colin has ever had to winning an IC of his own.
This is going to be a big moment. This is already a big moment for the European trainers, as a lot of these trainers have played against each other before in regional competitions, but it just means so much more on this grand stage. Having an international champion title behind you gives you a little bit of an extra boost, right? Yes, these players, they're playing for championship points, they're playing for prizes, but they're playing for that pride and that trophy.
It all comes down to this. I saw good luck from Pato-Man to Colin. We are locked in, everybody. Game 5, EUIC 2026, Shadow Drapion versus Seaking.
Shadow Drapion now going to be able to pace just a little bit quicker, and we'll have to see if he wants to throw it right away. I think that's the right call by Colin. Also gets that Protect Shield on the side of Pato-Man because the crunch would do a nice amount of damage to the Seaking.
Definitely. Seaking does have that Mega Horn utility, which would deal massive damage to the Shadow Drapion, and when your nerves are this high, it would be very easy to shield here as Colin. Will he call the Icy Wind bait? No. Uses the first Protect Shield of the match.
It's a little bit risky to not use the Protect Shield, but at the same point, your attack is going to be lowered. And now, catching here on the Dunsparce, this is still that heavy-hitting attack, so it's going to do mega amounts of damage to the Dunsparce in return. But still, having all of that energy saved on the drop-in is a very, very big play for CoIn.
It's going to take 12 turns for the Dunsparce to have the drill run ready, so Pato-Man stays in the matchup, swapping into the Milotic, but if you'll notice, he did not get the Dragon Tail through on the switch, which he would have preferred. Drill run's going to connect, it's going to deal some chip damage, and our switch timers are heavily displaced.
And at this point here, you have to keep track not only of your own energy, not only of your own switch timer, but how much energy your opponent has. So Pato-Man has to recognize how much that drop-in had before it swapped out, and the same for CoIn, recognizing how much the Seeking has, because this will be very important in that late game. Meanwhile, you still have to pay exact attention of what's going on right now as another Aqua Tail goes through. CoIn has one Protect Shield left, and he doesn't want to use it on this low health Dunsparce. This Aqua Tail is enough to connect and knock out the Dunsparce.
Just barely enough. Milotic has another Aqua Tail ready to go, but Shadow Drapion firing on the charge attack priority, like you called out, Amanda. Remembering your opponent's energy is so critical, especially mid and late game. Drapion returns the favor and knocks out the Milotic.
I mean, I think if you're Pato-Man, you're really happy that Drapion came back in, because if you take a peek at the backline, the Spiritomb is there, and Spiritomb doesn't want to take those crunches. CoIn uses both of his Protect Shields on Icy Winds from the Seeking on the drop-in, immediately pivoting out now to the Spiritomb up against the Seeking, and Seeking is able to reach the Mega Horn. No Protect Shields remaining. This is heavy hitting damage.
This might be the play that changes this entire battle. Mega Horn connects, Spiritomb comes in, Pato-Man looks like in a commanding position, but does he call a Shadow Ball? Yes.
This was big. Unlike CoIn said, where there was no Protect Shields, he had to take it all. Pato-Man takes negligible damage from that Shadow Ball. He's going to be able to just start charging up energy, but this drop-in has so much.
The combination play, will an Aqua Tail plus a Crunch be enough for CoIn? This is his chance. He fires off the charge attack. Pato-Man looks out of the crowd. He thinks he's got it too. Rock Tomb, charge attack priority. Pato-Man is gonna win.
You see Pato-Man grinning, you see Pato-Man swiping, you see Pato-Man winning for the second year in a row!
Back-to-back EUIC champion, Pato-Man claims the title in London. Nobody's ever done it like the Spanish prodigy.
He went from second place at Worlds, he went to second place at LEIC,